a lot. And yeah. So we are collecting Lao stories. And Mrs. Banlang is from Laos. And she has hundreds of stories.
My name is Banlang Phommasouvanh, but when I was young, Banlang Luang Visa. I came from Laos, and because of the fall of Saigon and then Cambodia, Laos automatically, had to give up. The country became communist. Then I came here with friends and relatives, those who could make it. With a scholarship, I went to France to get my degree. And when I returned, the war broke out to become a refugee. Lots of friends died in the Mekong River, crossing over into Thailand with my youngest daughter on my shoulder. In my arms, I did hold her. My name is Banlang Phommasouvanh. Together, we made it safely here. Not that long ago, from Thailand to America, 10,000 miles from home. Life is full of ups and downs, but with education, I know you will survive in any situation with an education. This is my song. This is my story. Never to lie. Speak the truth only. Do not steal from anybody. Do not kill or hurt somebody. My name is Banlang Phommasouvanh. The background about my storytelling is that first is from my parents. My dad loved to tell story. My mom loved to tell story, especially after dinner. He liked to come to tell story to kids and before they go to sleep. Long time ago, from the kingdom of Laos, there was a story about one paradise bird just loved dancing all day and all night. And also a mongoose, just hungry mongoose. I'm so hungry. And one book is called 1001 Night. It's from Asia, from the Middle East, but they have Lao version. It's called Nang Tan Tai. So the story never ends. This story, it's about a king who got his queen, that his first queen betrayed him. She got a lover. And when he found out, he killed his wife, the queen. And then he told his servant, tomorrow I want another queen. So each queen stayed with him just one night. And then the whole kingdom almost gone with beautiful girls. The last queen that he's gonna get is called Nang Tan Tai, with a sister. So Nang Tan Tai talked to parents, before I go to the king, may I bring my sister, because I tell story to her every night and I didn't finish my story yet. And the younger sister said, please, I implore, I need to listen to the story, at least one more story. And beautiful Miss Tandai went to the king and her sister, and she said, dear king, I know my duty is to become your queen tonight. May I please bring along my sister? Before I say goodbye to her, she needs at least one more story to hear. And the king, why not? You're my queen. You can do anything you want. And then the night come. The king and the queen
share the room, and the sister sleep by the bed there so that she can hear the story. And the queen tells story. So lovely, so nice. In the morning, when the rooster croaks, servant came with the sword. Knock, knock, knock. King, it's time now. The king stand up. Get out from my room. Don't bother me. What? Because every night, every morning, the new queen got to go and get killed. Don't bother us. We're not finished. We need to sleep again. And the whole palace talk about what happened. The queen stay. And the king told the queen, please tell one more story tomorrow night. And I love your story so much. Okay. The following night, the king listened to the story that Nang Tantai told her daughter, her sister. The following day, the servant came again. Knock, knock, knock. Get out from my get get out from my room. Don't bother. Can I have peace, please? And then the whole palace talked, the rumor, what happened to the king now? It's just like that, continuing until the end of their life. They stay together. See, knowing to tell stories save your life. If you can attract someone who know how to love the story, can learn from the story, you live longer.
Bananas unite! You got to peel banana. Now peel with me. Peel bananas. Peel, peel bananas. Got to peel bananas. Peel, peel bananas. Got to chop bananas. Chop, chop bananas. Got to chop bananas. Chop, chop bananas. Got to eat bananas. Eat, eat bananas. Got to eat bananas. Eat, eat bananas. Got to go. Bananas, go, bananas, got to go. Bananas, go, bananas.
So my name is Saymoukda Vongsay, and I actually have multiple artist names. So for spoken word poetry, they call me Mooks. And then for my literary life, it's Saymoukda Vongsay. But the one about laying down as a snake doesn't really have.
No, that's not a story.
It was just don't lay down.
Yeah. I just got that story.
He ate the rice.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's right, yes.
And we were like, whoa, that's
That's
extreme.
He was mad.
That escalated
She
fast.
gets 2 little rice, but she was like, "Oh no, it's enough." And
Yeah.
he was like, "No, it's
Right.
not."
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And I'm actually a multifaceted writer, but I'm now primarily in theater as a playwright.
Like to stand your feet. I can respect that.
So what's happening today is we are doing kind of a run-through of the play. It takes place post-apocalyptic, and it follows 2 Lao women. One is Lao American, one is Lao from Laos. And it's really about the journey of these 2 women, and the story is framed by the Buddhist precepts, which is do not kill, do not steal, do not lie, do not have immoral sex, and do not put toxins in your body. So then the greater question is, what happens to your moral standard? It's really about like staying grounded and being true to yourself. And there's zombies and they do kung fu, so that's always fun. But I have a background in poetry, and I do some performance art things. Sometimes I write plays and act in them. So I try to do everything, which is not good because that doesn't make you great at everything. But I like the challenge of trying new things, and that's why I wanted to do this, be a part of this project, to try to create an anthology of, I just think that it'd be great for the community to have this collection, so.
So, my name is Saymoukda, and it means a string of pearls, or pearl necklace. And so a long time ago, maybe when I was about 8 years old, I asked my mom, I said, you know, kids are making fun of me at school because my name is so different. And she said, well, you shouldn't let those kids bother you because your name is really, really pretty. And it took me a long time to come up with your name, so you better appreciate your name. And my mom said that I dreamt about, there was this realm in Laos. I dreamt that I was walking through the forest and my feet was getting tired, and I knew that there was a river close by. So I decided to just pull through and just keep walking so I could reach the river because I wanted to soak my feet in the river. So as she was walking through the forest, she saw these 7 sugar palms coming out of the ground, and that's when she knew that she was getting close to the river. But something happened. As she was walking towards the 7 palms, there was an orb, and this orb looked like, let's see, it was bright, it was circular, and it almost looked like a gem. And it was floating around the 7 palms, just flying like this. And she thought, well, that's weird. Why is there a floating thing around some sugar palms? But she followed it anyways. So then she gets closer and closer and closer. And by the time she got there, she was super tired. So she decided to just soak her feet into the river, and then she laid back and she fell asleep. And then she said, the orb just kind of kept jumping on her face. It was trying to wake her up, right? And she decided, you know, I should just wake up so it stops bothering me. And I said, oh, that sounds like I felt really nice that she had this weird dream that came up with my name, and it was like a cool story that I could tell people at parties. But when I tell my friends that story, they're just kind of like, that doesn't even make sense. What kind of dream is that? I'm like, do your dreams make sense all the time? No. But anyway.
You know, I felt like, who else is learning this stuff? And what a special treat it is to be able to have this opportunity. So I feel this project is really important because, you know, David Zander is doing story circles with the elders, not just the elders, but youth too, at Lao Assistance Center. And what I wanted to do for my portion of this project was to work with apprentices and community members and collect stories, and then ultimately create this anthology where we can distribute. And eventually I would like to create a curriculum that goes with these stories, and to have these stories not just be something that you read and is entertaining, but to be interrogative and to ask questions. Why were things told in this way, or why was this lesson important? One of our apprentices just told us a story about a sumo wrestler in Laos. And I'm like, sumo wrestler? What does that have to do with Laos? And then I remembered that Laos has once was occupied by Japan. And how did these visitors to Laos influence our stories and our history? So yeah, like all these different things.
Well, hi, welcome to my house. I'm David Zander. I'm retired. I worked most of my life as a cultural anthropologist, and part of that was as a storyteller. Now, Sang wanted to come to the story circle today. So this is a story for you to tell the little children, okay? Sang wanted to come to the story circle, but Sang hurt his... And I can't walk. And I can't swim. Oh, how do birds move? You try. How do birds move? They fly? Okay, all right. Can elephants fly?
No.
No, there's Dumbo, isn't there? He flaps his ears, but this is sung. Storytelling, for me, there are these 2 huge categories. The folklore, the mythology, the origin myths, And I really love to know, in every people's culture, religion, how do you explain the world? How did we get here? What's your story, separate from Genesis? And then there are the personal stories. And through the story circles, we've been doing both, collecting both of those. Yeah. People died in the war. Not everybody, refugees, escaped. There were people that died. Your father died. And the bravery of the mother, your mother, to bring you to safety.
But, how about friends?
And friends. Yeah. So I'm very glad to hear the story, but I also want to be respectful of the sadness in these stories too.
She doesn't know about her father.
That was really interesting because, like, I listened to stories from my dad, and I never really thought about asking him.
Upset, okay?
Yeah, it's okay. You share it. Yeah. You said you never asked your dad.
No side conversations. But, are you feeling sad?
Yeah, I never really thought about asking him about his escape story. I asked him more about, like, oh, hey, how was life in Laos before he came? So just listening to this is like, wow, I should really ask my dad about his escape story also.
And I think that's a really, really key thing. Some people do not want to tell their personal stories. Maybe trauma, sadness. I remember asking a Karen woman, what are your earliest memories? It's an easy question. Floods of tears. But people here, it's a bit of a puzzle for me. People teach their dances, people teach their songs, but they don't seem to be teaching their stories. And I don't know quite why, if it's language barriers, the stories are easier, the dances are easier to tell, but I am working on that.
It wasn't until maybe 5 years ago that I actively started focusing more on traditional Lao storytelling. I grew up with my father and my mom telling me these Lao folk tales. And they weren't like before bed or anything. It was just, after dinner, and we're hanging out on the porch because it's, we don't have AC because we live in the projects. And it's cooler outside. And so we're telling these stories in a circle together. And my dad would tell me these stories about giants that ate people, or princesses that at night turn into ogres, and wizards that lived in caves and put spells on women to like seduce them or something. Anyway, I don't know why he was telling a child these stories, but I always loved them and always asked for more. So 5 years ago, Sunny actually asked me if I wanted to focus and concentrate on working with a master storyteller to learn more about these Lao folk tales and to learn how to retell these stories. And I definitely jumped at the opportunity because, I felt like, who else is learning this stuff? And what a special treat it is to be able to have this opportunity. So I know that our community, the Lao community, tends to be more supportive of other types of art forms, singing, dancing, and not so much literary arts or storytelling. And I want to remind people that this is stuff that you grew up with, and every family did it, and so why aren't we doing it more? I don't know. I don't want people to feel bad about it. It's a huge what to me, so, yeah.
I'm really a traditionalist. All I want is for the stories not to get lost. I want people to have the conviction that they have powerful stories and that we can collect them and tell them and join these networks of storytellers, which is starting to happen, particularly through this grant. Who's not in the story circle, and what stories are not in the story circle? If you look at the Nap's book, Homecoming, the major storytellers in America, you'll find Amish, Black American, Native American, but you won't find any Asian. And so the Asian storytellers have not been in the story circles. So my friend Sonny, leading up to Sonny, when I asked Sonny, what stories do the Lao tell? He said, oh, David, we tell escape stories. And I think the younger groups like Saymoukda are more into media, social media, and fractured storytelling. But I'm just be happy to, two key words in here, to perpetuate storytelling and preserve the stories. We had the mission to try to create this to happen, and I think, wow. And it's an ongoing, what we need to do is to have more of the younger people have a pride in their stories. And I think it doesn't happen when they're kids. It happens more when they go to college and they become more aware of cultural identity.
Creating this is going to be good for peace of the world, harmony of life, and it's good to learn to be smart in our head, but we have to think about our heart as well. Kids, they do well when their heart is healed, when they have good heart, when they're happy. So I think our story has to do to help people to love each other, to be smart, but also think about peace and harmony in our nature, in our life.